with this, that post-positivist or some of the post-positivist philosophers, they analyze the paradox of confirmations, the conformability, the concept of conformability that has been used or that has been introduced by the positivist philosophy, because they are confirmed about particular fact. By principle of verification, we can confirm about the fact, and we are confirmed about the fact because it has some sort of meaning. It is meaningful statements, and it is different from the meaningless statements. But the point is, there is a paradox of a confirmation which is which is central to this, post-positivist discussions. What is the paradox of confirmations? Then before discussing about this paradox of confirmations, we have to be very clear about what exactly paradox means. Now, paradox means, a sequence of claim that if they are taken in isolation from each other, they seems to be reasonable, they seems to be sound enough. And if those claims are taken together, that makes confusion, or that makes paradoxical situations. Now the point is, what kind of paradoxes are there, or what kind of paradox is there in the theory of confirmation? Now, if we talk about this paradox of confirmation, sometimes it is called as Raven's paradox, because this particular concept and paradox of confirmation has been used by Carl G. Hempel, C.G. Hempel. So it can be called as Hempel's paradox, or it can be called as the paradox of a confirmation, or it can be called as the Raven's paradox. Why it is called Raven's paradox? Now, Hempel has taken the example. Hempel has trying to explain the paradox of confirmation by taking the help of an example called Raven's. Or where there is paradox. It's very important that, by illustrating this, paradox of confirmation, Hempel has taken an example called, suppose all Rabbins are black. All Rabbins are black. There are three intuitively compelling principles by which compelling principles of a confirmations which cannot be jointly satisfied. Keep in mind, there are three compelling principles of a confirmations which are not jointly satisfied. Hence, there is paradox. Now we have to discuss. Now we can discuss what are these three compelling principles of confirmations. Now, first one is called. Let me discuss, or let me explain in this particular discussions that one is called Nichols condition. Nichols condition. Now, what exactly Nichols condition talks about? Now, a universal generalization is confirmed by the positive instances. A universal generalization is confirmed by the observation, the positive instances. A universal generalization is confirmed by its positive instances. For example, suppose all ravens are black. All ravens are black. This particular statement is confirmed by the observation of black ravens. This is first condition, that is called Nichols condition. Right? A inverse of generalization is confirmed by its positive instances. That is, all ravens are black is confirmed by the observation of black ravens. This is first condition. Second is principle of relevance. Principle of equivalence. Principle of equivalence. What this particular principle talks about? Now, this particular principle talks about if a piece of evidence confirms a hypothesis, it also confirms its logically equivalent hypothesis. If a piece of evidence confirms a hypothesis, it also confirms its logically equivalent hypothesis. Right? Logically equivalent hypothesis. And the number 3 is called the principle of relevant empirical investigations. Principle of relevant empirical investigations. Now, this particular principle talks about hypotheses are confirmed by its positive. Hypotheses are confirmed by investigating what they assert. Hypotheses are confirmed by investigating what they assert. So these are the 3 intuitive principles by taking these 3 principles, Hempel tries to analyze the paradox of confirmations. Then now the real problem will start. Where there is a confirm, where there is paradox, right? Now, suppose take the hypothesis called H. That is, all ravens are black. Right? Take another hypothesis called all non-black things are non-ravens. H dash. Right? Now, according to this, right? Now, H and H dash, they are logically equivalent. H and H dash, they are logically equivalent. Right? How? Now, a positive instances of H all ravens are black and H dash is all non-black things are non-ravens. Okay, take for an example of H dash. that all non-black things are non-Rabins. Suppose a white piece of chalk, a white piece of chalk. Example, example of H dash, a white piece of chalk. Right. Since H and H dash, they are logically equivalent. That means all Rabins are black and all non-black things are non-Rabins. That means we have taken an example called a white piece of chalk. Right. Here by the Nikod's condition, right, here by the Nikod's condition, that the observation of a white piece of chalk confirms H dash. That means a white piece of chalk, it confirms H dash. Right, a white piece of chalk according to Nikod's condition. Nikod's condition, what he talks about? A universal generalization is confirmed by its positive instances. That a universal generalization is confirmed by its positive instances. That means H dash, that all non-black things are non-Rabins. This is the positive instance of H dash, a white piece of chalk. Positive instance of H dash. Right. That means this positive instance of H dash, this particular examples confirms H dash. Right. And hence, according to the principle of equivalence, as we know that H and H dash, they are logically equivalent, so this particular positive instance confirms H. Right. Let me clear again, just keep in mind. Right. Take for an hypothesis that is called H, all Rabins are black. Take another hypothesis that is called H dash, that is called all non-black things are non-Rabins. The positive instance of H dash is called a white piece of chalk. That means a white piece of chalk confirms H dash according to this first condition, Nikod's condition. And according to the second principle, that principle of equivalence, now we can see that H and H dash, they are logically equivalent. Right? And since this particular example or this particular instance, since it confirms H dash, and now if H and H dash, they are logically equivalent, so this particular example confirms H. Clear? Right. Now the point is, in condition 3, the principle of relevant empirical investigation, here the problem arises. How here the problem arises? Here the problem arises because principle of relevant empirical investigations, that means all Rabins are black, it has to be confirmed if we will verify the fact of black Rabins. All Rabins are black, it is verified by the observation of black Rabins. But here the problem is, all Rabins are black is verified not taking the black Rabins, but we are taking a irrelevant things like a white piece of chalk. Since a irrelevant things confirms a general statement, there is the paradox. All the things are logically correct, they are sound enough, they are all reasonable. If we discuss it independently, then they are, if we discuss it in isolation, they are all sound enough and they are all reasonable. But when we combine, or when we take all these principles together, then the problem arises, or then paradox arises. Because we are confirming about a general statements by the help of a irrelevant things. That is the problem with confirmation. These are the paradox. Why it is called paradox? Why cannot it be called the problem of this confirmation? And this is paradox because all the principles which we have taken here, they are equally relevant, they are equally reasonable, they are equally justified, but all these principles we cannot jointly taken together. If we take jointly together, then there will be paradox. So these are the basic problems which has been discussed by these post-positivist philosophers. Okay, thank you.